Hey folks, it's great to have you back. I'm Z from Freemius, and today I'm going to discuss creating an unforgettable first-time user experience. As of today, it's still pretty common to see WordPress plugins and themes with no onboarding experience whatsoever. But as the ecosystem matures, people are expecting higher quality and more user-friendly products. So whether your product is simple to use or complex to set up, as long as you need users to touch a few settings before they can use it, you should invest in that initial moment of contact between users and your product. Because creating an awesome first-time user experience is a great way of making your product compelling to people from the get-go, it naturally gives you a competitive edge. In this video, we'll discuss two techniques that make a product's first-time user experience awesome no matter who the user is. One approach is a traditional setup wizard, which guides users through each and every step of setting up your product and gives you complete control over the experience. The other approach is a learning by doing type of onboarding. Because most users won't like sitting down and being forced through your setup wizard, learning by doing is an approach that introduces them to your product by letting them play with it. When a user activates your plugin or theme for the first time, one of the best ways to make them bond with your product is to help them learn its functionality by playing with it. So, what's a good example for a learning by doing approach? If you have an image gallery plugin, when a user activates the plugin, you can redirect them to an editor to create their first image gallery. If on this page you show them some personalized page titles, a live preview of what they're creating, and an interactive way of configuring the settings, the user can immediately see the gallery in action and customize it intuitively. Applying this approach makes your product both tempting to try out, fun to explore, and effortless to succeed with. You often see this on plugins that are predominantly visual. But even if your plugin doesn't have a significant visual component, keep your heads up for this next example. Yoast SEO have done an amazing job using their red, yellow, and green bullet colors, making it easier for users to identify opportunities for page optimization. And the functionality of their plugin isn't primarily visual. Moving on to discuss the best ways of onboarding users with a traditional setup wizard, let's take a look at the first-time user experience of one of the biggest players in our ecosystem. Upon activation, WooCommerce immediately redirects users to an onboarding wizard and asks if they want to skip the setup by clicking Not Right Now. This activation screen is highly effective in filtering the different types of users. By letting them choose if they want to go through the full setup or click Not Right Now, WooCommerce let users adjust the level of guidance they need without explicitly segmenting them based on their level of experience. Additionally, to minimize distractions as much as possible, the plugin uses a full-screen onboarding wizard. This hides the WP admin user interface and keeps the user focused on just these options. Now, WooCommerce is a fairly complex plugin that requires significant configuration just to get started. So you can look at these 5 steps as developers and see what information is most important to collect upon activation. After filling out the store details in step 1, this opt-in form pops up before displaying step 2. Also notice how I no longer have an option of escaping the process altogether. I did have one with a Not Right Now link on step 1, but not during step 2 through 5. This tactic of reducing distractions and removing the option to abandon the wizard is a great way to increase the wizard's completion rate. Looking more closely at steps 3 and 5, you can see that WooCommerce is doing a good job at upselling their paid extensions, right inside the onboarding process. In step 3, they offer a subscriptions add-on and paid themes in step 5. If users select a paid product during these steps, they're reminded to purchase it before they complete the process. This is a creative way of upselling your paid offering right inside the setup. Even if they don't convert right away, they at least become aware of it. These first 5 steps are part of a longer checklist shown in the plugin settings page. This way, the setup process continues in the standard WordPress user interface and encourages users to step up their engagement with the plugin before it becomes fully functional. In terms of timing, this makes perfect sense because they've already completed most of the process. Okay, now, let's wrap things up. Take a good look at your own product's audience. How would you segment your users, and what features would you first introduce them to? Can you get users to bond with your product by introducing them to an awesome visual component? Or is your product too complex to start that way and requires a setup wizard like WooCommerce? If you're lost on where to start, try to examine where users are getting stuck after activation. Your support tickets might show you where this is happening, or you can use certain data tracking measures to see how people interact with your product. After processing this data, you can be sure to surface the information and options your users need at the right place at the right time. Think of this as your product's single chance of making a great first impression. The best way to do this is either engage users with a learning by doing experience or guide them exactly where they need to go by using a traditional setup wizard. The choice is yours. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe and tap that bell for updates. See you next time.